y'all, it's Ro, and this is the moment I've been waiting for like since last year. The Ogle to Eccles highway is finally open. So I'm gonna give you all a quick drive through today, from the Ogle all the way to Eccles and then back to Ogle. So first, when you come along the East Coast Highway, you will turn left. You're heading west, and then once you reach Ogle, there is a dedicated turning lane, which will allow you to turn left into the highway. Now, as soon as you turn left, there is also another lane that continues, which will allow you to merge right once you get up to speed and what's not, and you won't interfere with the other traffic. The speed limit along this small stretch here is 50 kilometers an hour because it is a residential area. We pass and you see in the signs that show you the distance to where you're going and the directions. Now this is the approach to the roundabout. This roundabout for me, it's a little bit too small. Could have been slightly bigger so that vehicles could go through side by side without any issues, but it works for now. All along here is still 50 kilometers an hour. So somewhere from around here, the speed limit is increased to 80, and then it's 80 all the way to when you reach to the Hogs Bush dump site area. And now we're approaching the intersection at Ogle Airport, which right now there is a traffic light, but it's not functional as yet. Hopefully when it is functional, it's not one that takes forever to change, because the last thing you want to do when you have a highway is to build up traffic, and then kind of defeats the purpose of a highway. So when I drove through today, it wasn't that busy as yet. I guess as more and more people get to know about it, and they will start using it, and it will become a little bit more busy. As it is, there are no encumbrances at the side. Nobody's selling any food or anything like that, and hopefully this highway is kept like that, because the moment you start encouraging people to do that, then you have vehicles stopping and you have an unnecessary buildup of traffic, which is very bad. So here is where you will see the first U-turn from the other side of the road, which is the eastbound. Actually, sorry, that's northbound. And you'll see there, once you turn from that side of the highway, there's ample section to your far right, which is kind of a third lane, which will eventually allow you to come up to speed to 80 kilometers an hour and then merge with regular traffic. Now here off to your right, you will see the exit lane. If you want to U-turn and go and join the other side of the highway, which is the northbound lane, there's ample piece of road there which you can turn off onto and then make your U-turn. So hopefully people use that as they are supposed to, and they don't just make a sudden turn off and then have traffic building up for no reason. Here is a feature that I'm not too fond of at this point, which wasn't there the couple times that I did walkthroughs. Some rumble strips. I'm not too sure why they put the rumble strips randomly along this part of the highway. The first set of the rumble strips in the group in is not bad, but the second set feels a little bit rough and kind of seems like it was an afterthought to this highway. Here we're passing another one of the U-turn exits from the other lane. So now when you reach the Hogs Wash intersection, you basically have to drive past where the intersection is, and then you cut across lanes here, and then there's an exit lane which will allow you to do a U-turn. Now these rumble strips are ridiculously bumpy. You won't be able to see it on the camera because of stabilization, but it really shook up the whole car. And I think they're in the wrong place, because at that point you're trying to brake, and if you're braking and going over a bumpy surface, it will upset your braking and can cause you to crash, or it can cause you to not stop in time. So from there, now you make a U-turn and you cut across left, and then this left turn will take you turn left, and then you head towards the Hogs Bush dump site and the Eccles roundabout. This road is pretty straightforward, one straight road. There's not much, there's no U-turns on here. And here also the speed limit is still 80 kilometers an hour. One thing I noticed about this, the shoulder of the road, it's still just, it's gravel. I don't know if there's any intentions of paving it or putting concrete, but hopefully with how the road is constructed, it doesn't wash away, or when people happen to drive on it, the gravel doesn't, go away and then cause erosion to the road surface. But I guess we'll see as we go along over the months coming. went in at 50 kilometers in our zone. So you slow down and then you basically join the road to go out to Eccles. You can see the Hoxbush dump site on your right side. And then of course, what would a new road be without police stopping people? First day of the new road being in action and police are already out. So we're gonna just drive all the way to the roundabout and then drive around the roundabout and then head back in the opposite direction towards Ogle again, so you can see the other side of this highway. One thing with this roundabout, I believe what could have been done, we could have had like a dedicated turning lane that exits this highway, so you don't have to join the roundabout. So you have a dedicated turning lane all the way to your left where the sign is, which never comes in contact with this roundabout. So there's no wait, there's no bottleneck, and the traffic just flows smoothly out to the highway. But in rush hour, when you have to wait, you cause a buildup of traffic for the other direction and for the Ogle Highway exit. So hopefully in the future an additional lane can be added there, which would make sense for traffic flow, I feel. And of course, people in the roundabout don't know how to use the roundabout. They don't want to wait once another vehicle is in the roundabout. They just drive in. Yeah, out to the roundabout now, it's a straight drive. Well, I say straight loosely. You have to make one left turn. But it's a straight drive all the way back to the Rupert Craig Highway. Here, speed limit still 50 again. So as we go along, I'll put a link in the description of this video for the other two videos I did on this Ogle to Eccles highway. One was an update, and then the other one was in March when it was like 50% complete. So you can go back, if you haven't seen it as yet, you can go back and see how the road came from there to here. First time I did this walk through these bridges, or this section of bridges weren't completed as yet. There wasn't anything there, it was just foundation. So it kind of feels nice to drive over it after like just watching it being built from the ground up. section just before you turn left to head south, I believe that is, towards Ogle, is going to be 50 kilometers an hour. So you kind of have to slow down before you make this turn right here. And again, you will see the signs up above. Of course, you have all this road here to come up to speed, and this driver is not really using it properly. The guy in the pickup is supposed to stay where I am, come up to speed, and then eventually once you're like up to 70, 75, you cut across to your right here, and then you join your regular traffic, which will be, I guess, in the future when this road connects farther up, they will have other traffic here. So hopefully by then people learn how to use roadways properly and learn how to use the I don't know the right name for the lane, but the lane that you use to get up to speed. On your right there, you can see the U-turn to go on the other section which we just came from. For me, this highway was excellently done, with the few caveats that I didn't really like, but it's not a big deal breaker. I'd give this a 98 out of 100, definitely. Later this evening, I will probably do a drive-through to show you what it looks like in the night, but it'll just be a quick drive-through again. This area here that we're passing is where the Southern Road will connect to. You see the lane, the extra lane at the edge, the left there, for entry and exit to that road. Another thing you'll notice as you approach the U-turn areas, the same light that the beginning of the highway has, there is one on your left there. You see it blinking to basically warn you that there's a U-turn there and there are barriers, so you don't drive into them. Because y'all Guyanese drivers are a special breed of people. You guys can see off to the right there is where the specialty hospital will be, and then somewhere on the left here, which I don't think you can see on camera, is where the ExxonMobil headquarters is being constructed. And the building on your left is the Marriott that I would have mentioned in previous videos. Here we are approaching the intersection at the Ogle Airport. There is one dedicated lane on your left to turn into Ogle Airport, There's one on your right to turn right, and there's two that go straight through here. I do hope this highway will be properly maintained and we don't have them bumpy patches that you would have probably like you would see on the East Coast Highway and some other places. They got some really high bumps that basically upset your car. So hopefully whoever's doing the maintenance for this will do a better job than in those cases. And now here we are approaching the railway line top road. So if you're going straight through to the Rupert Craig Highway, essentially you're supposed to stay right in this lane here. And then you use the inner lane of the roundabout, which this canter driver is not doing. And then you exit on the inner lane of the highway again. Yeah, that's pretty much what the highway looks like. You guys, if you're not like me who has to use it often, I recommend you just coming and driving through it and see how it's like, so you get familiar with it. So when you actually do have to use it, you know exactly what you have to do. So I will upload another video, probably the same time with this, of the night view of the highway. So do check that one also if you're watching this one. And here, to turn back onto Rupert Craig Highway, there is a turning lane. The lanes don't have the marking arrows as yet, but hopefully they put them. But I would believe this lane that I'm in on the right, and the other one where the gray car is on your left there, are the two lanes that are dedicated for turning right. And then there is one that's dedicated to turning left also. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video and look out for the other one. Take care.